The soul and the spirit for me comes from my background of church. And also I started with poetry. I started writing poetry before writing songs. So I always thought like all my songs have to be from experience, and I think, and come from the soul. So you always know what I'm going through. You always know things like that. So I think that's why people feel it spiritually and soulfully, and then soulfully because, you know, my inspirations is gospel, of course, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin. So I have all those people, you know, inspiring me. And I think it just comes from church, period. And pages from my diary. So when, you know, I think like I'm talking to you, it's because songs, I feel the best ones are a conversation. So people can relate. Like, it's like we're conversating. So that's why I guess people feel it soulfully and spiritually. The first artistic thing that I really felt like this is my thing was poetry. And then I went to the School of the Arts in Rochester, New York, and I met a young lady that took one of my poetry poems and turned it into a song. And I was like, whoa, you know what I mean? Even though I could sing and stuff, I just would write the lyrics out, you know what I mean? Or just write out, like I said, poetry. But poetry definitely was the first thing that said, this is something. And I used to write my poems on the wall. I had this closet in my childhood bedroom. I used to go in the closet and write all of my stuff on the wall. And my mother found it. She was like, what is this? I was like, it's just my words and stuff. And she wasn't mad, but I think that's when she knew that I was kind of into music and things like that, because I kept it from my family for a long time. My first real schooling of production and the industry was from DeVante, you know, Jodeci. When I auditioned in 1994 to be a part of his group, you know, that he came with Jodeci to Rochester they had to complete their last album. And he brought along this crew of artists, which was called the Basement Crew, which included Missy, Timberland, Genuine, Magoo, Playa, and he had a group, Sugar, and I auditioned to be in that group, and I got that part. And we just was a family, and that's how I learned. It was almost like a boot camp. I learned because we wrote songs, we sung, we did all of that. That's all we could do all day. That's all he wanted us to do. And that's where I learned, like, the major parts of like mixing, mastering, like all. And back then they had the reels. It wasn't Pro Tools or anything like that. So I learned from the real G's, you know, of the industry. And that's where I learned how to stack vocals, even though I don't stack vocals, but I learned everything. It was like, again, a boot camp. Yeah, so shout out to DeVante from Jodeci. I think it's important for artists as far as production and everything else other than just songwriting. Because for me, I just know what I want it to sound like. You know what I mean? I know that even with the boot camp, I said with DeVante, he always said, don't listen to anybody so you can have your own sound and know what you want to sound like or your music to sound like. So I think it's very important for all artists to get into that and know the business. I mean, that's the bigger word of show business or whatever, but you also just want to know, you know, be involved in every aspect of your creation. Like, it's your creation, you're creating something, so get in tune with how it works from the beginning of you singing all the way to the mastering. Just get into it and be involved.